So we reach the end game and we're just endlessly beating maps and waystones. But there has to be more to it, right? Yes, there is, and quite a lot more. So we're going to go over the pinnacle bosses, how you can access them, what rewards each pinnacle boss gives you, and all of the other end game activities that there are. And if I do miss out on anything on this video about the end game, or there's any other activities that you could recommend the community, please leave a comment down below. If you can make it detailed, that'd be great, because what I'll do is the most detailed comment that helps the wider community, I'll make sure I go ahead and pin that. And if I haven't mentioned, I've got a Discord link down in the description, which has got a Path of Exile section that we can all trade, talk and communicate and help one another in there. So if you want to be part of that community, the link is down below. Plus, I'm going to be going live on Twitch very soon, so if you do want to see me live, make sure you go ahead and follow me on Twitch. The link is in the description. So I think with that being said, let's get started. Now with the end game, there is quite a lot to go over, and I'm going to be going over everything from the basics to obviously the more advanced stuff. If you've already got knowledge on this basic stuff and you already know how to map and do your waystones, then do make sure you skip ahead and go to the chapter that suits you best. So when you first get to the end game, you'll appear in somewhere like this. It's called the Ziggurat Refugee. I've probably butchered the name, but do excuse me. My pronunciation is definitely not the best, so there's going to be a couple of mistakes in this video. But one thing I think I have corrected for this video is it should be called Path of Exile, not Exiles. So hopefully that helps a lot of you, because I've seen a lot of negative comments recently, mainly just because the way I pronounce the game. So what do we do when we reach the refugee? So when you get to the refugee, you're going to speak to Doriani. When you speak to Doriani, he's going to give you some quests, and the quests are going to relate to you going over to this thing up here, which is called the map device. Now, a lot of people, when they've already done this first part of mapping, probably already have their hideout. But the first thing I would probably recommend every single one of you to do is get your hideout. How do we do that? Well, what you want to do is you want to go to the map device and you get these things called waystones. Waystones can be purchased from Doriani. I probably said his name wrong, but Doriani, however you want to call him, and you can get from 1 up to 5 from him. Now, I'm not too sure if there's higher waystone tiers that you can obtain from him, but these are the ones that I definitely know you can get. Right at the start, you probably should only see tier 1s until you've advanced further, and then you'll unlock tier 2. 3, 4 and 5. In this case, we don't see tier 3 on here. We just see 1, 2, 4 and 5. But you would go ahead and purchase a waystone. Once doing so, once you've got a waystone, you would go over to the map device up here, and you will start in a place that looks like this right here. That is the Ziggurat Refugee, and when you are here, you will see multiple circles glowing around it. What these circles are, you can see above, it's got the abyss, it's got the biome, and it's got the darkness and shrouds, these endless chasms. Now, some of these areas that you can travel to, you will see little icons above them. You can see that one has got this little looking minotaur image above it. This one's got some sort of red veiny looking thing above it, and you've got many other things like this one. What are they? Well, a simple way to show you exactly what they are is we can open up the map legend, and from the map legend we can literally go ahead and read everything that is stated here. So if we would see that logo, then we know it's a map boss, and maps will occasionally contain a map boss. These map bosses are extremely powerful monsters that have special mechanics and drop greatly increased rewards. And then we got so on and so forth. We got the breaches, the deliriums, the expeditions, the rituals, the corruptions, the unique maps, and also the hideout. So what we were mentioning before was a hideout. How do we obtain our first hideout? Well, typically when you first start, you should start pathing along these blue icons. These blue icons, you would press on one and you would go and insert your waystone. When you do so, when you insert your waystone, it will then let you traverse. Without a waystone, the traverse button will not be highlighted. So you want to start progressing. But in what path do I want to go, Deathwish? Well, that is completely up to you. In theory, what you want to be doing is heading towards citadels. What is a citadel? Well, a citadel is a place which has got a very unique monster, and this unique monster can drop you fragments. These fragments can be accumulated, and you can go ahead and open up something called the Burning Monolith. Now, if I'm going around the fog here on the outside is where we can locate citadels. We can see there is one citadel. They are located by finding a glowing beam in the fog. So that is a red one, and if I was to continue moving all the way along and all the way around, we should find eventually, hopefully you can zoom out a bit further. They've made it so you can't zoom out so far on consoles, so do excuse me, and I don't think it's loaded properly, but there should be more citadels located about, especially if you're a newcomer to the game. You should see more citadels in your area. But yet again, I digress, and I've gone straight past the hideouts. How do we get a hideout? Well, let's just say we're here starting up the Ziggurat Refugee, and moving along, I'm going to look for a hideout. Bam, I can see one right there. How do I know it's a hideout? Yet again, you can look at the map legend and we can identify the hideout with the icon that we see up there in the corner. And we can blatantly see that looking at this, it's got the limestone hideout. There is multiple hideouts that you can obtain, and there is sometimes duplicates of the same hideout in your mapping area, but you want to work your way towards that hideout and you can complete the hideout, and with doing so you will then get your own hideout. So let's go to our hideout. You can access your hideout at any waypoint. You just want to go up to the waypoint, and then on the very far right hand side of your screen you will see the same icon you saw in your map device once you've obtained it, and you can travel to your hideout. If you do have a guild, you'll probably have a guild hideout as well, which is good for you to know. Now once at your hideout, you can change what hideout you have. So if you do have any special editions, you want to go over to Alva, and when you're at Alva you can see there select hideout. When you click select hideout, with the ones you have unlocked, you can go ahead and select the one that you want to use or go to, and basically it's completely personal preference. In the hideout, you do have an option that we can see just here along the bottom, which says edit hideout. The option will be different, or the control will be different depending on what console you're on, or if you're on PC, so that's completely up to you. But in the hideout, you can literally go ahead and edit everything. You can move the cloths around on the floors, you can move the map device, you can even change the map device, and you can also add more. So as you can see yet again along the bottom there, I've got an open hideout stash, and in here I've got multiple different things that I can go ahead and place to different waypoints, different relic lockers, different pets. I can have my pets floating around in the hideout, and I can customize it to however I want. If I want to make it dark, grimy, or even if I want to make my hideout smaller. So we see this hideout is really, really big. You can completely section off an area to make it so it's really easy for you to use and move around. You can move all of the people in the area. So if you want to use shops together, you want to use storage together, that's completely up to you how you go ahead and work around with your hideout. So let me just cancel my hideout, or the editing mode, and now I'm back out of the editing mode. I'm in my hideout. What is there to do in a hideout, and why would I recommend a hideout? Well, hideout is just a simple way for you to obviously use your own map device. Do excuse me, I do tend to like map device as obviously as a word in my videos. I really need to remove that from my vocabulary because I say it a little bit too much, because the reason you're watching this video is because it is not obvious. So if I do say, I am entirely sorry, but there's certain things, for some reason, they just don't disappear from my vocabulary. Okay, so we've established that where we start, how we use the map device, and what a hideout is and how to obtain it. So yet again, this is mainly because a lot of people get to the end game and they think, well, I'm just mapping, and what is the actual reason for me doing all of these maps? Is there really any point of me completing all these maps? It just seems repetitive and boring. Well, it's just like the story. You go through doing little sections of maps to get to the final boss of the act. Act 1, 2, or 3. And then you go up difficulties. Act 1 cruel, Act 2 cruel, Act 3 cruel. This basically happens the exact same in the end game. In the end game, you go through, do the basic maps. And upon completing these basic maps, or certain variants of these basic maps, you will then achieve tokens to access certain areas where you can fight certain bosses. Now, you can go ahead and repeat this up to 4 times because each boss has 4 difficulty tiers. So imagine Act 1 normal, Act 2 cruel, Act 2 whatever it may be, difficult 3, and Act 4 difficult 4, sorry. So there is 4 different difficulties in the end game, whereas in the story you've only got 2 different difficulties. This is what makes it obviously challenging, fun, and yet again I did say obviously again, but it makes it fun and challenging, and there's also some really good rewards that I'm going to be telling you about. So I think with that being said, I'm probably best off starting on the pinnacle bosses. How do we get them? How do we unlock them? And what rewards do we get from each pinnacle boss? Also to note, there will be a quest line when you do get to end game where you've got to complete a wave of tier 1 waystones, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, all the way up to tier 15 waystones. Once you do that, you will then get to the Vow Incursion that you see above me, travel to the Stone Citadel. There'll be the stone, the iron, and what was the other one? Let me go ahead and open it up. We can see there we had the stone, the iron, and the copper citadels. You have to complete all 3 to achieve what is known as fragments. These ones that we're seeing right here on the screen, the ancient crisis fragments and the faded crisis fragment. There's also another one. You can do this by completing the citadels, and what happens when you complete these citadels is you'll come across this thing on the map that we'll see right here called the Burning Monolith. You'll probably find this really early on, as we can see that the Ziggurat refugee is right there, but right down below I've got the Burning Monolith. So maybe unclose or find this early on. You'll probably see it sticking through the fog close to the beginning base, because you see your typical towers that we see sticking through that look like that. You just see like the bunny ears on the top, and if you were to look at this one, well, it's definitely got a distinctive look. So you could go ahead and unlock or make the Burning Monolith appear, so you can go ahead and get them challenges. Once you go to the Burning Monolith, you'll open it up, you'll go in there, and it will give you the challenge to go and unlock the stone, the iron, and the copper citadels. So from there, that's when you want to go and head towards the beams that you see in the fog. Now, you might have come across a lot of money in the game at one point, and with doing so, you don't actually have to go to the citadels and complete them to be able to face the boss in the Burning Monolith. You could simply go over to Alva, go to the currency exchange, go to I want, go down and go ahead and skip all of these methods in order to achieve the tokens to fight the bosses in this, apart from one, and just go ahead and buy them. So we're missing what? The weathered crisis fragment. If I have divines or exalts, I can literally go ahead and buy the weathered crisis fragment for I can get 1 weathered crisis fragment for 1 divine, or if we were to go and put it into exalts, for 248 exalts. And you can just go and buy these things off of the market rather than having to go and farm them. And with the 3 of them, you can go over to the Burning Monolith, insert them, and then face the boss. But that's not what we're going to do in this video. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get each token to access each boss. I'm not going to be showing you each boss in this video because I don't want to spoil it. I want you to be able to enjoy it for yourselves and go ahead and face them bosses and them challenges for yourselves. Just remember that them bosses do have up to 4 tiers each of difficulty, and there is a certain way for you to unlock each tier. I'm going to explain all of that, and I'm literally going to explain every single reward that each boss has, so you can make the right decision on what you want to do first. Maybe you don't want to do that boss because it's not beneficial for you, but I'd still recommend you to do every boss in the game. That's the fun part about it. That's the whole reason we play games, is to challenge ourselves and to min-max our builds, or to kind of discover. Okay, so now I've explained the basic end game. I'm going to go over every single boss. Now, there is 5 bosses, technically 6 bosses that we're going to be doing at the end game, but 5 instances, should I say. So one of the areas has got 2 bosses in it. They're not that hard. They're probably one of the weaker bosses, but in order to get to them bosses, a little bit harder. But I'm not going to spoil that for you. It's just for you to understand. And then I'm going to say their names, of course, because I have to say their names or how to achieve them, so you know what rewards you're going to get from each one. The first boss we're going to go over is the one that basically leads off of the story missions, or the missions that you get, which is where you would go to the citadels. Now, when you go to the citadels, you obtain them fragments like I just mentioned, and then you would go to the Burning Monolith and insert them 3 fragments to be able to enter the Arbiter of Ash. So if you didn't quite catch, to make it brief, you go to each citadel, the stone, iron, and copper, and you would go and get each and every different fragment, which there's 3 fragments. You will then go to the Burning Monolith, and you will go and insert them fragments, and then you will face the challenge of the Arbiter of Ash. And when you do so, these will be the rewards that you get. So yet again, my pronunciation is definitely not the best, and I'm going to completely butcher these reward names, but I'm going to still say them, and you'll see the image on the screen of what they are. So from the Arbiter of Ash, you can get the Moria Invictus Grand Regalia. You can get the Solus Ipsi Grand Visage. You can get the Sine Aequo Grand Machetes. You can get the Ab Eterno Grand Curiouses, the Sacred Flame Shrine Scepter, and the Prism of Belief. Now, these are random. They do have their own percentage. With the Sacred Flame and the Prism of Belief, you can only obtain that from tier 4. So how do we get better tiers? So basically, when you complete each boss, you should get a book drop from them. It will appear in green writing, or depending how you've got your loot filter. And when that green book drops, you will then get Atlas points. In these Atlas points, you'll go over to your Atlas map, and then when you're in here on the console, you can see you hold X. It's very at the far bottom left of the screen, and it will bring up this map that you see right here. Now, when you open up this map, you can see that you've got your original one that you get through going ahead and completing your tiers. You get 2 points per one, which Doriani gives you, so you can fill out this first area. And then you've got these side ones that we can see right here, and some of them have points, some of them don't have points in. That is because I haven't completed them all. I've just done the research to tell you, and I've obviously done one, and they are all basically the same. They all just give different rewards and they're different arenas. So I wanted to share with you guys what is so fun about the end game before you all go, Endgame is boring. It's not. There's more to what you know. So anyway, let's take this one for example, because this has been completed. This is the Delirium tree that we come off to in the Atlas Pathing skills. And we start off here with 0 points. When you defeat the boss on the first difficulty, it will drop a book. When it drops that book, you would go ahead and consume it. With consuming it, you will get 2 points. Now we can see there, it's got a number 8 of 8. That means I have obtained 8 points. How did I do so? Well, if I get 2 per difficulty, I've defeated all 4 difficulties. In this case, I did not defeat all 4 difficulties. I actually had someone help me defeat all 4 difficulties. You can do the same, but it's completely up to you. I did it because I wanted to test out splinters, simulacrum splinters, to be able to see if it could be a lot more profitable. And obviously, as I couldn't kill the 4th boss, then I needed help with it, and someone helped me, so it was really good to do so. So anyway, let's just say that you've got no points in here, it's 0, or you've now just defeated a boss and you've got your first 2 points. With them first 2 points, you can go and invest them into it. Now we can see the first part that you can travel to on this tree will only let you get simulacrum difficulties, and that goes all the way around. So your first point, regardless, is going to give you a simulacrum difficulty, meaning it's actually going to increase the tier. So now the boss goes from tier 1 to tier 2 immediately. So you can go ahead when you defeat it again and get your next book, because now it's gone up a tier, you get your next book drop. So you've got your first one, now you've got your second one, you've now got 4 points. From there, you can go ahead and invest your next 2 points straight into difficulty to have tier 4 difficulty right from the start. And even if you've got it in tier 4 difficulty and you complete it twice over, you'll get the book twice. It doesn't matter if you haven't done tier 3 and you skip straight to tier 4. That's completely up to you. If you want to do it that way, then do it that way. But what you could do, what people typically do, is they'll go down, they invest their first 2 points here, so they'll get 1 difficulty up, they'll invest their second 2 points here, and they'll get their third 2 points, and they'll invest it here, and then their fourth, they'll invest it here. So basically, each time that you invest your 2 points, it goes up 1 difficulty, because we've got the 3 difficulties here, and then we've got the 4th difficulty here. That is obviously when you're at the 4th difficulty is when you got the highest drop rate percentage for items, and you get all of the rewards available to you to potentially drop. So that's how you get the tiers. So yet again, like I mentioned before, the Burning Monolith has the 4 tiers. You do the exact same thing. You get your fragments, you go and kill it once, you'll get the book, you invest your 2 points to increase the difficulty. Once you've increased the difficulty, you'll go and farm another 3 citadels, you'll come back, or you can buy the fragments from Alva, you'll come back, you'll kill it again, it'll drop another book, and then you would invest the next 2 points, you go and repeat the same thing over again, and you get another 2 points all the way up till max difficulty is 4. It cannot go up higher than 4, even if you invest more points into difficulty. 4 is the max tier for any boss in this game, but it's just going to give you highest loot rewards. So if you want to get them rewards that I mentioned before, the Burning Monolith is the one for you. But regardless, I still think we should all try every single boss to see if we can do it, if we can achieve it, and if you can better your build to do certain bosses, because they've all got different elemental effects, etc. So with that being said, that now brings us on to our second boss, which we're going to go over, and that boss is going to be XESHT. So XESHT is the breach boss. How do we achieve the tokens to get the breach boss? Well, if we go over to Alva, we can see the tokens and what they look like. If we go to here, we can see in order to do XESHT, we need breach splinters. And when you obtain 300 splinters in that description there, it creates a breach stone, which is this one right here. You could go ahead and purchase it, but I'm going to be showing you how to get the breach splinters to obtain it yourself if you want to go down that path, if you don't have the currency to buy it outright, or if you actually want to farm it in general to achieve it yourself fully. So you go over to your map device, and in your map device, we can see here on the map legend at the top left, we've got breach, and the icon is a purple background with a purple hand, which is this one right here, the willow in the biome forest. I'm going to go ahead and enter it. I'm going to go and put a tier 15 map in there. That's got 70% delirious. I'm not going to be putting that one in there. I'll put this one in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and traverse this map. You can put any waystone you want. It has to be a waystone over tier 11 for breach splinters to drop. Remember, the more waystone percentage that you've got, so if we look at this, for instance, we've got waystone drop chance. If we get it over a certain tier, you actually get more drop. And if you do go and invest Atlas points into the trees, you can actually get a higher percentage drop rate as well. So there's many ways for you to increase the drop rate on these. So let's just say we've now done that, and we're now going to travel to the Willow. So make sure it's tier 11 or higher for you to be able to get the breach splinters. So my map is foggy, but that is only because I've made the map delirious. I do all my maps in delirium state, which is using distilled emotions, because you get simulacrum splinters drop. They obviously make the next token for the next boss we're going to go over, but we're not going to be talking about that right now. The reason I do it is just so we can actually sell the simulacrums and make money passively on the go. It also gives you a higher chance of better drops because you got more waystones on it or anything like that. So it's pretty good to know in this method. But I'm just going to go through the map to find where is the breach area so we can kind of discover where it is. Now, as we can see on my screen, I'm starting to get these purple wisps kind of float around. We can't see it right here. We did see it a second ago. If I move closer to the area, we can see there's a couple of like purple glowing things floating through the air. Bam! There we go. We can see these purple floating things going through. They're going in the direction of where the breach hand is. Now, you won't see them right from the start. In my case, I have. But typically, when you're going throughout the map, you'll start seeing them purple things, and then you'll head in that direction because they're guiding you to where the hand is, but the hand could be anywhere on the map. In this case, we found it straight away, which is great. What you want to do is with the breach hand, in order to activate it, you need to walk into the hand. Upon walking into the hand, the zone will expand. I'm explaining it before I do it because it happens quite quick, and I might not be able to explain it when it's happening. Is the hand will have a zone that appears as a circular form, and it will expand around, growing further and further and further away from the center. As doing so, loads of monsters will appear on the edge of that zone as it's expanding, and you want to kill as many of them monsters as you can to keep it expanding further, keeping the time running longer. Even though we don't have a time, all I know is that the more monsters that you kill, it does keep it growing. And if you can do the whole map and make the whole map grow, that's great, because it means you're going to get more splinters. Now, in order to get the breach splinters, you want to walk over loads of mini hands that appear when you're going ahead and doing the breach. In this case, I'm going to go and activate the breach, and you're going to watch me. I'm not the greatest at breaches. My build is definitely not the greatest for it, and I'm on a tier 15 map. So I'm probably not going to be able to show it to the greatest potential, but I'm going to give you the idea. So I'm going to walk into the hand. It's going to start growing. I'm going to start killing everything. As I'm killing everything, I'm also going to be looking out for the little hands that are around everywhere. Walk into them, and you'll start to see breach splinters drop. That's what we need to obviously make the breach stone with 300 of them splinters. So let's enter. Bam! We've started the boss, and now that we've started the boss, we can start to see monsters appearing in the masses along the edge. We've had a breach splinter appear then. We've got the collapsed hand there. I'm going to walk into that hand, and another splinter has dropped. And there's another one right there. I can walk into that, and another one has dropped. I'm going to keep walking around the outside and killing all of these monsters as they appear, and walking into the hands if I do see any. Keep walking around the edge. Keep rotating around the edge if you can. As you're defeating the legendary mobs, more will appear. There we go. We keep killing them. We've got more. I've got simulacrums there. We just keep going around. We can keep looking for these hands. More breach splinters. My screen is literally lagging at this point.
I need mana.
My mana keeps running out, so do excuse the noises if it does go mana low. There's a collapsed hand there. I'm going to go into that.
No mana.
And we can see the zone, or the fog, has now disappeared. So I'm going to go back around and collect all of the breach splinters that had dropped on this map for me, to make sure that I can get as many as I can. And if you are better, or you do have a better build, then in that situation you would have been able to extend it even further and obtained a lot more breach splinters. Not the greatest of builds for this. It does do an alright job, but it's not the best job. And at least this shows you approximately what it's going to be like for you, which is pretty cool. You get a better understanding with a build like mine, making it more realistic for you to follow along. But still, don't be fooled, I do have a half decent build, but it's not incredible. Now this is something cool that I can show you in this video. I had one of these drop, which says a breach precursor tablet. I'll go over that after I've gone ahead and completed this map and collected everything, but these breach precursor tablets can go ahead and do something really interesting to help you get even more breach splinters. So I've finished collecting the splinters that dropped, and this is how many we got. We got 15 splinters in this one breach map, meaning in this case we're gonna have to do 20 breach maps for me to get a full breach stone, which is quite a lot. But as you go through them tiers, you will be able to unlock further paths, meaning you'll be able to get more breach splinters. And as well, you're going to be min-maxing your build, getting a better build, meaning you can kill more monsters. The more monsters you can kill, the more breach splinters you can get. The quicker you can get breach stones, you can use them to sell, you can use them to farm items. Completely up to you. Okay, so now I've left that map, I want to show you exactly how to get more breach maps. So if I go over to my map device here, we saw before that I picked up something called a breach stone tablet. If I was to open up my inventory and show you, here's this one right here. I actually managed to get 2 breach precursor tablets. There's this one and this one. We can see each one has got a different title, which gives 8 maps in range contain breaches and 9 maps in range contain breaches. You can also go ahead and upgrade these, which make them better, can give them more opportunity to have even more on the maps. But they can only go into the range of magic and cannot be turned into a rare. But regardless of that, the magic version can be good, as we can see here. Increased monster density, breaches in your maps open and close 7% faster, and 14% increased rarity of items found. And this one gave us 10% increased quantity of breach splinters dropped, which is really good, and increased rarity of items found in your maps, which also is very good. Now, how do we actually activate them? Well, what you want to do with a precursor tablet, this could be anyone, whether it's a ritual, breach, boss, whatever you could think of. How to activate them is you want to go and complete a tower. We can see on this map here, I've got several towers floating around. We got this tower, we got this tower, we got many of towers around the map. This one, for instance, now this one has been completed or attempted. It says attempted, so it hasn't been completed. What we could do with this one is we could go ahead and select it. I can then go and enter this map. I can enter it doing whatever tier I want. It doesn't really matter to add the precursor, but you would want to, in theory, go and do a greater version of it so you can still get the loot. Now, when you've completed a tower and you haven't inserted anything into it, you will see that it's got that fire glowing above it. Well, in this case, I've got this one right here and I haven't put anything in it. What can I do? Well, I can see its radius. It's that big fiery glow around it. And we've got multiple ones that haven't been completed, which are the ones with blue. Now, do note that blue maps, if they've been attempted, you will not get anything on them. But ones that have not been attempted can get additional modifiers on them. So this one, if we were to go and do it, we should not get anything on this Steaming Springs, but we definitely should get something on the Bloodwood. So if I go to the Lost Tower, what you can do is once you've completed the tower, you can go ahead and insert the Collector's Breach Precursor tablets or any tablet that you have to benefit the ones in the area. And what you want to do in theory is get a collective of towers in an area and put all the different ones on them towers to really breach them up or make them go to the max potential. And you could have a map which has got bosses, breaches, rituals, delirium all on the same map, and you can get maximum rewards per area. If I go ahead and influence this, we can see exactly what happens. So bam, I've gone and influenced it, and we've just seen now with me influence it, we have now got so many more breaches available and all the perks that the tablet gave it. If I went over to another tower, for instance this one which I didn't put anything on, and I went and put placed in Lost Tower, and then I went ahead and influenced, it's going to put all of the other ones that didn't get one in the area even more breaches. Yet again, this works with everything. So now I've unlocked even more breaches for me to go ahead and complete, and as we can see, that one's been attempted, so nothing can go on it. But now we've got many more breaches in the area, meaning I can go ahead and do them and get even more splinters. Now these did stack so we don't get double breach, but what we did do is we did get a double stack of what we got on the breaches. So each precursor tablet had a benefit or a bonus, and now we've got the double amount of bonuses on these waypoints, for us, when we complete them, we can get even more loot. So you can really stack them up heavy. Even if I put another one in any of the other maps around here, as long as they overlap the other ones, I can really juice up them waystones for me to get even more breach splinters. Okay, so we've got the breach splinters. Once you've got 300 of them, you will then get yourself the breach stone. As we can see, the Twisted Breach Lord reaches out of his domain with the madden agony of anger. Anger? Anger. So as we know, this boss is XESHT. And how do we activate it? So once you've got the breach stone, you want to go back to your map device and you want to go back to where your Ziggurat refugee is. And here you will find this glowing thing, the realm gate. What is that? Well, this is actually, as we say, it's a peer into the abysses of the unknown. In this is where you would insert not the fragments, the fragment goes into the monolith, but the breach stones, as well as all the other tokens that I'm going to be showing you in this, go into the realm gate. And once you've inserted them in there, then you can traverse to go and defeat that boss, and it will take you basically to the other worlds rather than having to try and find more burning monoliths around the map. This realm gate will be where you put your tokens in to go and face the other pinnacle bosses. So this basically works with every single thing. It's just everything has got different ways of obtaining tokens. I'm going to show you how to get every token regardless, but I've explained to you how to get higher tiers of something. So yet again, the more breach bosses that you complete on different difficulties will give you even more points, up to tier 4, which would be a total of 8 points. And then how to get them with breach splinters by doing the breaches, how to get more breaches appear on the map. And this is going to work, like I said, for everything. But now that we've explained that, let me tell you the rewards that the breach boss XESHT gives you. So killing XESHT can give you the Beyond Reach Visceral Quiver. He can give you the Zoph's Blood Amber Amulet. He can give you the Pandemonious Lapis Amulet, the Choir of the Storm Jade Amulet, the Hand of Wisdom and Action Furtive Wraps, Skin of the Loyal Garment, and a Controlled Metamorphosis Diamond. Now, like I did say, a majority of these you will only be able to obtain by completing the highest difficulty, and that's where you'll get the highest percentage of chance. But yet again, I'm going to put all the links to all the bosses and all the rewards that you can get from them, and it explains how you can kill them down below. There's a wiki link for each boss, so you can go ahead and click on them if you want to see what the rewards look like for yourselves, but they were on the screen. Okay, so the third boss, or the third and fourth boss, because in this one there's actually 2 bosses, but yet again, I'm not going to show you what you've got to do in the boss area. I'm only going to show you how you get the token to go there. So we've established all of the tiers and everything, so this one's going to be nice, quick and easy for you to understand. Now this is going to be the Delirium boss, or bosses should I say. Basically you want to go onto the map device yet again, and you want to look for, if we were to open up the map, we can see there at the top left, Delirium. So we're looking for that icon around the map. We can see there's one there. In order to achieve what we're looking for is distilled emotions, we would then head into this waystone area. So I'm going to go and put one in. In this case, we can see that my map is delirious, so I'm not going to use a delirious map because that's basically the easiest way to get it, but I will show you that on another part of this video. So let's go and just put a normal waystone in there, and then I can show you this. So let me go and hit traverse. So the boss names is Kosis the Revelation and Omniphobia Fear Manifest. I'm sure that's how you say his name. Now, what we are looking for in this Delirium map, if we go to Alva again, we can see that we're looking for Simulacrum Splinters, and upon achieving 300 of these, they will turn into a Simulacrum. If I was to go into my inventory, you can see here, I've got a Delirium stash, and at the top, I've got 2 Simulacrums, as well as multiple Splinters. Now, the reason is this, because if you go check out my last video, how I currency farm, I'm actually getting loads of these, and they sell for a pretty decent price, and you can get them super duper easy, or you can literally just go and do the boss and then farm whatever rares might be in the boss, which I'm going to tell you in a moment. As we can see, 1 Simulacrum costs you 1.67 divine, or 1.7 divine that we're seeing right there. So we can get quite a lot. If I go to Exalts, if we look for Exalts, they're currently selling for 169 Exalts. So they are definitely at a good price. So how do we get the Simulacrum Splinters? Well, like I said, we go into a delirious map, or a map with Delirium on it, with the icon that we saw at the top. And once we enter, we want to look for the Delirium portal. And here we go. As soon as we enter, we see the portal right there on my screen. It's like that giant wave of crystal that's kind of trying to suck me in. The moment we enter this, the map will turn foggy, and then we've got a time frame to go around and kill as many delirious monsters as possible. Now, there is another method of doing this, but I'm going to enter this portal and show you the simulacrum splinters dropping. Do remember that I have got my Atlas tree maxed out for the splinters, because it's the best way, I believe, to currency farm. I've got it maxed out for the splinters, so I will be getting more than you will be getting. But this is how you get the simulacrum splinters, to be able to kill the boss, to be able to upgrade yours, so you can get the same amount as me. So here we go. We've gone and entered. Now we've entered, we can see the areas turn foggy, and with doing so, we are also going to get a timer run along the bottom, or along the side, where we can see delirium encounter. So the more delirious bosses we can go around and kill, like the breaches, means the more distilled emotions we will get upon completing it. So let's just try and get around this map as quick as possible. We want to head into all these mirrored areas, the ones that we see in there, the mirrors that are just appearing on the map, these ones, and they're going to drop more delirious monsters. Delirious monsters you can see because they've normally got like a frosty glow to them. So try and get around and kill them. We don't actually really want to bother too much on normal monsters. We want to expose them mirrors and get delirious monsters to appear that we did just there. Let's keep it moving. We can kill these monsters as we go along by just hitting backwards. But we don't want to get stuck on a dead end. We want to try and kill these. We've got nice inscribed in ultimatum there. Keep moving. I'm hoping we can complete this whole map and get the max delirium encounter. There we go. We've destroyed some more. The splinters have not dropped yet currently. We'll get the splinters in a moment when we go ahead and complete the task. Do excuse me, I'm not the best at multitasking. We'll go some more delirium monsters.
I need mana. The mighty fall.
Any more mirrors? No mirrors here. Let's keep it moving. Let's try and find the mirrors. Oh, we've got more delirious monsters there regardless. We kill them. Oh, we saw them getting sucked in this direction, so there must be a mirror there. There is indeed. There's a mirror there. Still going. No, it ended. Damn. So we've got 8 simulacrum splinters dropped from that, and some distilled ires. These distilled ires and distillations is exactly what we need. I'm just going to kill this while I'm here, and I'm going to go ahead and complete the map, and I'll talk to you as soon as I get out. Okay, so upon leaving that map, I have managed to obtain how many splinters? Only 8. There is actually a really good way of achieving simulacrum splinters, and it's not by doing delirious maps. Now, you would have to do delirious maps to get distilled greed, guilt, etc., to get distilled emotions, or you can go ahead straight over to Alba, which does not cost much. You'll get plenty of exalts to be able to purchase these, and you can go straight over to here. Let's say we have exalts, and you can buy 2.86 free for 1 exalt, and then when you go ahead and put these on a map, it will turn a map into a distilled map. I do go over this on my currency farm, and it becomes one of these maps. So how do we do it? If I was to just take an ordinary map, if I was to just go ahead and click use on this distilled emotion 1, 2, 3, and then I was to go and put a map in there, we can see that each one gives me extra layer of a delirious to the map. Now that's 26 delirious on that tier 15, and then you would go ahead and make it a delirious map, and then when you go into a delirious map, there'll be plenty of delirious monsters spawning, and each time you kill them, if we looked at the boss that I was doing before when I was doing the breach, that was a delirious map. Many a simulacrum splinters were dropping. I believe in that map alone we got about 34, maybe even 44 simulacrum splinters just from that map. So that is definitely the best way for you to get simulacrum splinters, to get the simulacrums to go ahead and put in the realm gate to activate the boss. And yet again, there's 4 tiers to that boss. What are the rewards? Here's the rewards you can get from defeating it. So you can get the Asylum Closed Helm. You can get the Perfidy Knight Armor, the Melting Maelstrom Ultimate Mana Mask, which is really good, the Collapsing Horizon Rim Quarterstaff, the Struggle Scream Stellar Amulet, the Megalomaniac Diamond, and another one, but with 3 mods rather than 2. So one with 2 and one with 3 mods. Yet again, you're going to get the highest percentage drop of these if you get it to the highest tier. and you will not get all of these throughout every tier. So if you are trying to get a specific one, remember the link is in the description to see the exact percentage of tiers, because otherwise it'll be a lot to go over. So moving on to the fourth boss, this is going to be the King of the Mist. This is the one that you get from defeating rituals. This is probably one of the hardest tokens to get. Otherwise, you can go straight over to Alva, you can go to I Want, and you can go ahead and buy the first token here, the Ritual Fragment, which is an audience with the King. And you can go ahead and then put that in the Realm Gate and go and face the audience with the King, which is the King of the Mist. This, like I did say, is very hard to get, and when you do get it on a ritual as well, it can be very costly, where you might have to defer an item to make it achievable. What do I mean? Let's go in and do a ritual map. So for a ritual map, in order to get the most money from a ritual to be able to potentially buy the items that are in a ritual, which we're going to see in a moment, we want to have a waystone that's something like this with increased magic monsters. And as we can see at the top as well, it's got increased stack size for simulacrums, but there's delirious monsters as well. You might get them spawn. We want increased pack size and increased number of rare monsters. There is areas of patches of shock ground. Monsters have a 50% increased accuracy rating, and monsters are evasive, but we don't want to worry about that. The main thing we want for the spawn rate of rituals is to have as many monsters as possible, because the more monsters you can kill during a ritual, the more points you will get. So let's go over to the map device. Let's go and locate a ritual. If you want to see what a ritual looks like, it looks like that red minotaur that we're seeing there. You can pull up the map legends. You can literally see this is a ritual. If you want to go ahead and read it, pause the screen and read it. But let's try and find one that I have available. We can see we have one here. It's irradiated map, and it's got increased rare monsters, increased monster density. That's for breaches. But I'm going to go ahead and chuck that waystone on there and go and traverse to it to show you the ritual. So once you enter the map, you want to go and locate what we're seeing here. I just got a divine orb. I've just had one back-to-back in my maps. Nice. This is probably the best farm then. Just go and do maps, and you're going to get rich. There's my simulacrums as well. So they every two of them that drop is one exalted. So this is pretty damn awesome. Let me just clear off the waves around the area just to make it so I can explain it without having to stress of monsters potentially killing me while I'm trying to explain what on earth we want to do here. Okay, so when you're at a ritual, let me go pick that divine orb up just in case anything happens. We got a ritual precursor tablet, which we explained earlier. You can go and chuck that on a tower. Great stuff. You can see that you can interact to begin the ritual. You can also read when you can interact with it. Tornadoes of rats traversable in the ritual site as well, which makes it very difficult. When you click on it, it does shrink the zone and many monsters appear. The ritual basically summons loads of monsters, and once you've defeated all of them monsters in the area, it will complete the event, and then you can go ahead and interact with the ritual altar again. You've potentially done this during the act, and then you can go and purchase one item. There is also a reroll mechanic. This is why we want to get as many monsters a pack size as well when we're doing these, so we can have more money to buy the items and potentially the audience of the king. But let me show you about the deferring and that. Let's go ahead and do the ritual. Let's go and start it. That is one of the ones I really do not like, is that tornado. That tornado bugs me because it does a lot of damage. You're seeing here. But the lucky thing for me is when I kill things, they drop. Well, that wasn't too bad. We can see my health went up. I can go ahead and interact with it now that I've completed it. And as you go ahead and interact with it further, it will unlock more and more and more. If we look at the right hand side of my screen right now, I've got 2 rituals remaining. But here we go, interacting with it, we can buy multiple items, and then we can also see that as well as buying, you've got a defer option. Defer option, basically what it does, if you were to defer an item like this one down here, let's say, which this is the item that activates the inventory, your next regal orb only add prefix modifiers. If I was to go ahead and defer it, we can see what my future discount would be, what the deferral fee would be, and the total deferral cost would be overall, whereas the item cost me 380, so it does make it a lot cheaper. This is basically if you find an audience of a king, you will defer it until it comes to a point where you find it again in another ritual and you can afford it. Now you can sell them for a lot of money, but I would recommend you defeating that boss multiple times to give yourself more points into it, and then you can actually obtain more omens and stuff in the future, and they sell for such a crazy amount. So try and do the ritual boss probably first out of everything. I'm going to go ahead and buy the Sinistral Coronation. It's not something I really want. I don't think it is. Actually, I'm going to see what these are, because maybe one of these is the audience of king before I go and chuck my money in it. As we can see there at the bottom as well, once you get 1,000 points, you can hit that dice button and it re-rolls what's on your screen. So if you didn't get anything good this time, maybe on your re-roll, you will get something good on the next time. Let me go and defeat all of these rituals and show you everything that's in the store at the end of this. And as we can see from the last method, just doing this one map alone because it's Delirious, I'm already on 12 simulacrum splinters. So I'm already times a half of what I had last time on the last map by just making a map Delirious. So this is a much better method in getting simulacrums than actually doing Delirious maps. It's just getting yourself some distilled emotions, putting them on your maps, and then you'll get simulacrums by deleting Delirious mobs in that zone, which is definitely the way I would go about it personally. Okay, so we've done a little bit more and it has exposed a little bit more. You can see now the dice is available because that is 1,000 points to go ahead and use to re-roll what's in here. But we still haven't got everything exposed, meaning we need to go ahead and complete the next ritual that we can see on the side of the screen. We've got one ritual remaining. Okay, so here is the last ritual. Let's go ahead and do this. Avoid that tornado at all costs. And let's go and kill all of these mobs. And then we'll go and see what it has got available for me.
Back to the soil.
Again, like the Audience of the King is one of the hardest to get because it's not a case of like you can just farm up splinters. It's RNG, so it's not the greatest. We can see there we didn't get anything. We've got the Omen of Sinistral Coronation. I can go ahead and buy that, and then I'm gonna re-roll this. And like you see there, you sure you want to re-roll favors? This will replace all current favors and cost 1,000 tribute. So I've done that, and we didn't get anything on this roll. So that means now I'd have to go into another ritual map, try it over again, to see if we can get anything. I am going to look at the items because sometimes these items in here are really good and can be worth some money. I've sold many of items through here because they are pretty decent. So I'd strongly advise that if you are in here, definitely go ahead and look at these. As we can see, that one's got an 87 increased fire damage, maximum mana intelligence, increased mana regeneration, as well as spell damage. Not bad. It's not a bad item. I don't know if it goes for a divine, but it might be worth a poke in the dark. It's free at the end of the day. And I don't get to keep these points, so I might as well do it. But let me look at everything else first. No, nothing else in here has been good. So I'm going to go ahead and actually buy this wand. And I'll see if I get a divine for it. There we go. We've gone and left that map. And upon doing so, obviously, it didn't really... obviously, didn't really improve anything. We got a divine out of it. Great. And we got more simulacrum splinters. So that's also great. But the main thing we were looking for was the King in the Mist token, which is this one, the Audience with the King, to go and do that boss. But that was the way you can actually obtain this, is by doing the ritual. So it's up to you how you want to go about it. I'm still yet to come across one of these, but as you can see, they're that rare that it cost me 8 divine just to get one of the Audience with a King. So yeah, it kind of plays there the picture of how hard it is to get them. But at least if you do find them, you do find them over and over and over again, you're going to be able to get quite a lot of divines by farming them after you have gone ahead and done the boss yourself. But lastly, what does this boss drop? He has the Beetle Bite Vela shoes, the Ingenuity belt that everyone is looking for. And if you get one that has not been corrupted, you can either corrupt it yourself and get a chance of getting up to 200 divines, or 1, 2, 3 divines, or you could just sell it as it is and get around 20 divines if it's not been corrupted. The Burden of the Shadows Chiming Staff, the Pragmatism's Explorer Armor, and the From Nothing Diamond. Then we've got the last pinnacle boss, which is OLROTH Origin of the Fall. This is yet again is still an RNG boss, kind of like the last one, and you cannot buy this from Alva. So how do we go ahead and enter this boss through the realm gate? So to do this, as you can expect, we go over to the map device, we pull up the map legend, and what we are looking for is expeditions. Now, in order to get these to drop, you want to put in the highest waystone possible, because the logbook that you want for the boss to spawn actually needs to be over level 79 monster level in the area for you to potentially get it, or at least the boss. You can still get the logbook, but the logbook doesn't mean that the boss will spawn for you to get a chance to get that loot. So here we go. We see on the map right now in the Swamp, I have got an expedition I will go ahead and enter here. So here we go. We're at the expedition area and we can see there's a person called Gwen. You probably had a question where you had to speak to this person at one point. Now we've got a detonator and we can see by looking above my head, we've got the LT and up to place explosives. Yet again, the prompt will be different depending on what you're on. We see that just there. What we want to do is we want to go around and place explosive on as many of these tombs. Looking at the map, we can see them that on here, we want to place as many explosive devices. Now you can't place them anywhere you want. You have to kind of chain them along, so you want to read them and see what's going to give you the most chance of items in the excavated chest, because when you blow up these tombs, an excavated chest is going to appear and you can open that excavated chest, and that's where you've got the chance of getting the logbook. So we want to be very strategic with where we go ahead and put our bombs. So here we go. Increased quantity of items found in excavated chest. That's a good one. Monster spawn with additional life missing. Not really too bothered about that. Increased pack size. That's another good one. A spawn with additional life missing. Increased quantity of artifacts found in excavated chest. Great. And increased quantity of items found in excavated chest. So the ones I'm going to start with, I'm going to go for this one right here, and I'm going to place it on the edge so I can actually move this around a little bit further. I want to try and make it so I can. There we go. We can put it there. We want to get... It's got additional 15 life. I'm completely fine with that. We increase the pack size. How many bombs we got left? We got another 2. So place that one there. And increase quantity of items found in excavated chests. So we'll go and hit this one as well, and that will be my last one. Can I hit both in one? I can. So we'll do that, and then we will go and hit detonate, and it's going to go in order. We can see by looking at the map the order it's going to go. It's going to blow up this one here first. We can destroy the monsters that are here, and then we'll walk around and destroy all of the monsters. We can see already the excavated chests have appeared on the floor where the tombs were. Oh no! Whoa! 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 What is going on? They are hitting me hard. Flipping heck! Oh, I'm dead. Well, anyway, in them excavated chests, you can find logbooks. Now, them logbooks where you would go and put it in the realm gates, go and have a chance to defeat the boss. If I couldn't even do that, then to defeat the boss would have been pretty hard. But what you did see on the floor was coinage and stuff like that. I want to show you exactly what that is. Did I manage to pick anything up? No, I didn't. But if I go over anyway to here, we can see I've got a load of this, the artifacts and the coinage. What these can be used for is in your hideout, you can go ahead to these people and buy items. Certain items, these items can be really good. They're not always guaranteed to be good, but you can go and spend your coins to purchase it. And you can see exactly what is required to purchase it by looking at the item. It says there 1 black scythe artifact, and I can go ahead and buy one of these. And then you can actually upgrade what's on it by not taking it from them straight away and just keeping it in there. So if I see this, has this got anything decent? Nah, it's not really that good. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not... Look, if I was to go and buy item, I can go ahead and click buy, but I can upgrade it before I actually take it, and it shows me what will be re-rolled. So I can actually re-roll modifiers in it. So if I went and hit A, it's re-rolled the lightning and given me increased physical damage and accuracy. Not too bad. I can upgrade it again, and it's re-rolled the mana on it. I can keep upgrading it and keep re-rolling the stats that are on it to try and get better variant. Then once you're happy, you go ahead and take the item, and it goes and drops in your inventory. And then you got all the other vendors here. So there's a couple of them here that we can see, and another one here, Rog. We look at him. He's got a load of items that we can buy as well. So that is another cool thing about it. But the main thing we want is to get the logbook, and then we want to come over here to the expedition to Danning, and then we want to go and put the logbook in here if you acquire it, if you don't die like I did. Now, killing that boss, what can you get? So you can get the Olvorasara Torment Club, Keeper of the Ark Spiritborn Crown, Svalin Crucible Tower Shield, Heroic Tragedy Timeless Jewel, and OLROTH's Resolve Life Flask. So that was all the pinnacle bosses. What else is there? Well, you also have the Trial of Sekimus and the Trial of Chaos. We probably all know what they are. The links are in the description if you want to read up a little bit more about them. Here is the rewards you can get from defeating each one. So defeating the Trial of Chaos for one, or the Sekimus, can give you your ascendancy points. So if you go into your passives once you've done your ascendancy, upon completing each tier, you will get an additional 2 points no matter what one you do. And by completing the 4th area or wave in one of them trials, whether it be the Chaos or the Sekimas, you will then get all of your points in your ascendancy, so you can max it up to what you could potentially do. You can re-roll these as well, just like refunding any other points. You go Doryani, and you can go to refund passives, and in the passives you can go ahead and refund these. However, they do cost more. As we can see, that's 5,000, and this is the likes of 25,000 gold. And for the rewards, you can get the Adorned Diamond, the Mahuchal's Machination Omen Shield, the Glimpse of Chaos Trial Mask, the Xerxes Genesis Heavy Belt, and the Hate Forged Molded Mitts. Now, that was the Trial of Chaos. In the Trial of Sekimas, it's completely different what you get in there. In theory, at the end of it, you get loads of boxes or tombs that you can open, and in these tombs, you can get a wide range and variety of stuff from them, and it is completely random. So if there's any specific items that you've got in there that you've not got anywhere else, please leave it in the comments down below and share it with everyone else. Also, while doing the end game maps, you might come across a strongbox. You might want to know what one of them is. Well, a strongbox actually increases the rarity of items that drop from that strongbox upon completing the little wave of enemies that it drops by 200%. Now, you've got the normal strongbox, which is just a mix of items, the armorer strongbox, which is armor, the blacksmith strongbox, which is weapons, and you've got the large strongbox, which is like the normal strongbox but a mix of items but at higher quality, and then you've got the researcher's strongbox, which is currency items. Last but not least, there's one other thing that I want to show you. Now, I don't have another one available on my map, but we can see here that I had the Moment of Zen, and this was a wandering trader. If I open it up and we go down to the bottom, we got a wandering trader, and the description reads, contains a wandering trader who may offer you powerful rewards. Now, when I did enter here, there was literally just a trader there. I spoke to this trader. Everything was free, but I could only pick one item, then I had to leave. And it was all unique items. I got something like the serpent's egg. So there is some things in there. At the time when I did go and do it, I didn't know what was great, what was good, what was bad. So I might have missed out on it. Maybe even a temporalis. I don't think you can get a temporalis from there, because a temporalis you get from completing a relic on the trial of Sekimas. And that is stupidly hard to do. You can read up about that as well if you'd like to. But that, yeah, they are really hard. You're probably best off buying one. You get one honor. And if you've played the game, you've probably realized that taking 1 damage is normally happens every part of the map, and you can't take any damage throughout the whole trial. And if you do, you lose it. But if you do complete it without taking damage, you complete the trial and you get the temporalis. So yeah, it's not easy. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. That's everything on the end game that I could think of. If there was more end game to it, so basically, let's make it brief. The end game has got 5 pinnacle bosses with 4 different tiers of each. In order to achieve it, you have to get the tokens to enter either the realm gate, or the fragments to enter into there, or the map to enter into the OLROTH area. Then you've obviously got the likes of your hideout, and you've got the likes of your strong boxes. So I think that kind of clarifies everything. I know this was a little bit of a lengthy video, but I wanted to make sure that I covered everything. Hopefully this helped. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.